Hi, welcome everybody to C&L Lines. This is going to be a tutorial on a rooftop fixture from ITLA Scale Models, and it is a laser cut. Now, in the process of doing this, I lost the first two videos, so I will ad-lib to it and let you know where I'm at, and then the video will start from that point. I appreciate you watching, and if you like it, hit the like button and subscribe, and we'll continue on from here. Thanks. In the first two videos, the first one, you see the three holes and one long thing on the sheet of board there. Well, if you look down, you'll see the three rings with the rod going between them. That was the first video that I had lost. The second video, if you look into the far right corner on the bottom, you'll see a little extra piece sitting there. It's a piece of airplane plywood, and it had the wood structure that wraps around this. Now you had to take it and boil it for 10 minutes, and then when it comes out, you had to wrap it, which I wrapped it around a old battery that I had that just happened to be the same size. Wrapped up with rubber band, and you have to let it sit for 24 hours to dry out the whole deposition. So that video also was missing. Now what I'm doing here is I'm beginning the rooftop of the structure. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to fast forward some of this so it's not such a lengthy video. But this is a process of cutting out all these little pieces. Now I will say that this kit is an excellent kit. Everything fits the way it's supposed to. There was a couple errors that I made, as I will point out. One of them, if you see down here on the sheet of paper next to those three wheels where the circles are, right underneath, it looks like a grate or a pallet. Well, I thought it was a pallet. As it turned out, it was part of the tower, which I had to later go and fix. So from here, we'll let you watch it, and like I said, I'll try to fast forward what I can. Thanks. Now here I'm sanding off all the little nubs where you cut out, where they're cut out. Just making sure it's nice and smooth all the way around so we get a nice clean fit on it. Now at this point I'm adding just a little extra glue into the edges there where everything was connected to make sure that it stayed good and connected. Now here's where my first mistake comes. They say to take this thing and put it over a cone shape and slowly press it down into shape. I figured, being the excellent modeler that I am, I could do it myself. Well, as you see, it broke. Fortunately, these pieces are so well made, they fit in. I just had to take care of gluing them in, getting the little burrs off of them. And it turned out alright after getting it back in. So if you do build this kit, just take your time with that, because that part of it, they will fall off. But don't fret. It's easy to put back together, even if you broke every single one of them. Now, one other point in putting this together, which you can see, it all came out good. But there's a little bit of an overhang all the way around, which is normal. It's the way it's supposed to be. Now, the instructions tell you to paint that underneath there and then glue the top on, but I did not. And now, as you can see, that little piece right there was part of the video that was missing, where I had it wrapped up. You glue it back up, put it back on the thing, and then wrap it back up with the rubber band once it's set in place, and let it sit. Okay, now that it's set, we take it off the rubber band, check, make sure everything is good with it, check for the top placement, and set it aside. And we'll start working on the wood trussels that hold the water tank itself. Now here again, once they're cut out, those little squares are the braces that go inside of it. We file off the little nubs from where they were connected to the sheet. Get everything nice and smooth, and then start assembling. Now these 3-in-1 blocks that you see with the holes in it right there, if you don't have them, they are well worth the investment. They're good for lining up 90-degree angles. I got mine at Micro-Mart. I'm sure they're available anywhere else, but they're definitely worth the purchase. That little block there that was used to help keep the 90-degree angle straight is a 1x1. They're also from Micro-Mart. They come in 1-inch, 2-inch, and 3-inch. Another good tool to have in keeping your parts straight. Now this part here, I should have waited to put this top on so that I could align the hatch on it with the side. As it turned out, the hatch was kind of in the corner, and I wasn't able to line it up when I put the ladder on. So that was my learning experience on that. Now here was my second mistake. Again, if you look down towards the bottom there, you'll see that grit. Well, that grit is a wood framing that is supposed to go underneath this tower. Unfortunately, me thinking it was a pallet, I went ahead and glued the tower to that when the support part of it should have been glued on, which fortunately I was using weld bond glue, which is what the kit recommends. I've talked about weld bond before. You can get it online at Home Depot, or if you live in Canada, you can buy it in the store. It comes off with some heat. I was able to take it off and put the part back in the way it was supposed to be, and all was salvaged. As you can see, the hatch little part is off on the side. I did try to figure out if I could get the ladder to line up with it, but it just didn't look right there. So it ended up going on to the side. Now here I'm trying to figure out how much I have to sand this part down where it's going to fit, because the angle of the roof was such that I needed to keep the water tower straight. So I began sanding it down so that I could reach the angle that I needed before I assembled it to the tower. Now at this point I had thought it was pretty much done until later on. Like I said, I realized that grit was to go in there. I didn't get the video on tearing it apart and putting the new part in. Now on the upcoming video you will see the completed structure with all the rooftop details that were put on it. This is Curtis Hunt, C&L Lines. All aboard!